say that I do always advocate for incentives for first responders, but I just want to mention it was the mayor's idea to add the offer as conditional use of employment. So it was a fantastic idea, and I hope everybody thought about it and agrees that that's something that we should offer. I also want to thank Manager Mark Landers and Public Works for the wonderful job that they did cleaning up all the branch and debris on 2nd Street today, from a large branch coming down and doing some damage to the power lines, and so it affected 2 sides of the street, and about a week ago it was a very hectic time. So one of the things I wanted to say is maybe it is time to kind of revisit and reconsider reinstating the Shade Tree Commission. We all know that there were certain species of trees that were not appropriate to be coarse planted, by electrical lines, by sewer lines, by light posts. However, that whole list has been reworked, and there are smaller species of trees to keep our town beautiful, but there's no funding to take care of the problem. So, homeowners are fully responsible for the cost of taking down the trees, and sometimes, depending on how large they are, that can run into thousands of dollars. Shade Tree Commission wasn't the all end all, but it did assist with some of this stuff. So it's something that I hope council does consider. I get a lot of property maintenance complaints that I deal with, and one of the first things that I do is run the property records. So I'm always looking at the tax records, and I have been noticing that many of the properties that have 3 times the square footage as I have, properties that have 3 apartments in them, they're paying lower property taxes than I am. So something is very wrong with the assessments. Now, I've never had my property assessment appealed, and I will not do that. However, I do think we should be advocating on a county level for a county-wide reassessment, because there are properties that are grossly underassessed, and then there's properties that are overassessed. And I think it will balance itself out, but it needs to be done fairly. And murals for the zoning committee, I hope you guys are still working on that, because I know Matthew has been working very hard on definitions.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Kirk.
Yeah, I wasn't here last week, so I wanted to give my remembrance to those who lost their lives in 9/11. Even further, I want to just have us, remind ourselves about the first responders who ran towards the tragedy and gave their lives for the tragedy. Even today, there's a lot of first responders who are dealing with respiratory issues and cancer from the result of the dust and things like that. So we have to remember those families and pray for those families also. That's it.
Councilor Payas.
Just to remind everybody, the September 24, the Latino Festival and the Riverfront Park. Welcome everybody. You want to know the Latino community, this is a great opportunity to do that. Food and dance and music.
Thank you. Councilor Oren.
Just 2 things. Number 1, I'm a frequent user of the Bard Park downtown, and just a reminder to residents to clean up after your dog. It's getting a little annoying. And secondly, I like the idea of Shade Tree Commission, but it should be Tree Removal Commission. I have a lot of elderly residents around me that are having issues with trees and can't afford to remove them, and nor do they want to plant another tree in its place, which I totally understand. So it's something we need to look at.
And you're volunteering to work with Councilor Miller on this?
Sure.
Okay. Good. Mayor Thomas.
Yeah, I'd just like to back up the issue with the Shade Tree Commission to say that my recommendation would be an ad hoc committee, similar to what we've done with zoning, and it's also involving sewer lines and systems as well, and the intricate issues involving who's responsible for what. And I know the Shade Tree Commission ran into its problems. However, I believe the ad hoc committee would streamline the interjection of additional problems for having an entirely separate commission again. I'm thanking Councilor Miller again for acknowledging the proposal for, the incentivization of the fire chief and for Councilor Arms for pushing and being tenacious about, the issue of residency. We'd like to, for those fire chiefs to live in the borough, and then having it incentivized actually came from what the school district was doing to incentivize teachers as well to live in the borough with the $10,000 non-repayable loan or grant, however you want to look at it. I'd like to welcome the 3 new members to Padita, and congratulations, Jill, on moving your operation to Connections on High. And did you say you were having an open house in that location? It just seems that it would be fitting with the holidays. A lot of people don't still understand the parameters spatially of the downtown district. Actually, someone I talked to recently felt that the downtown should include the hospital. And so.
I would like that.
Me too.
Yes, yeah. We will be doing things over the holidays. One of the biggest reasons we focused on that move was it will be much simpler during the farmer's market, during the events that go on downtown, for Padita to be right smack in the middle of it. It's hard, even though right on Hanover Street, we're not far, for people to leave and go. So that was a big part of it. So during the holidays, we will be open. We're talking with Connections on High on having coffee and cookies and that kind of thing. So we're definitely working on welcoming more people in.
Are you having a larger square footage?
Not really.
Okay.
Different spatial, but not a whole lot bigger. Probably a little bit smaller, which is good. Keeps me cleaner in the office. So.
And additionally, there was an outdoor service yesterday. The faith-based community joined together in partnership, about 7 or 8 congregations, through an organization called Team, and Tri-County Evangelistic Association of Ministers. I should know that. But anyway, just to say also that I'm kicking off a campaign similar to the initial faith-based initiatives, and it will be under the direction of Pastor Reggie Brooks, and it's called Keys to Transformation. I've actually studied and visited many areas that have been impacted and transformed through the works of faith-based communities intersecting with all other in a non-threatening, non-proselytizing way to address all sectors of society in need and triage them. So we have plenty enough base of nonprofit organizations and for-profit organizations that will be intersecting with these in a tangential way. So stay tuned.
Okay, thank you. I do have one announcement. I made use of our kennels. Heading east down High Street this morning, right in front of the Saratoga CVS, I spotted a little Shih Tzu puppy, again, going up and down the sidewalk, not knowing where he was or how to get across the street or whatever. So I did pick him up. I took him to CVS. None of the customers had any knowledge of it. Took him back to Lower Pottsboro Police Department, and I guess they got in touch with the Daywalls, who now put him in residence at our kennel. So if anyone in the Saratoga area is missing a little Shih Tzu, the cute little guy is at our kennel until Wednesday. And that's all I have. Meeting adjourned.